Guys got some talent, man.
प्रभाते उठिया काली काली
go down to the bottom layer beneath that, we're working at the level of myth, right? And so like, what's the myth about feed the world? It's my job, white knight, to come in and feed the world. How about I have to look at how come the world isn't eating because of my white knighting? How many hundreds of years have my people gone around the planet gathering up things to make our own commerce systems easier? And now all of a sudden we're going to talk about how to produce food and come and feed the world.
Biodiversity, that's the strength of the traditional market. And of course each shopping cart has all of the products that are consumed on a mass scale that are associated with these huge monocultures. From Hostess cupcakes to lipstick to chicken feed and cow feed, to French fries and fast food. And can you guess why we might have a copy machine be like a monster that's invading? This one in here. What?
I said I heard you explain it yesterday.
Oh, okay, well, I'm going to go into much more detail now.
Oh, okay.
It's actually connected to this entire hillside of resistance. So, the copy machine is a metaphor for the carbon copy development scheme, right? The idea that if it's a river, you should dam it. If it's a mountain, you should mine it, right? But there's one path towards industrial development, and it happens to be this very fossil fuel intensive industrial capitalist path. And so you can see here at the bottom, despite its promises of development, it actually has to bulldoze its way into a local community, right? It comes in because it doesn't need permission, right? Free, prior, and informed consent is not respected on a global scale, to say the least, nor is it respected even in Canada. Their land was going to be taken, and they were going to be compensated, I think, like 83 cents an acre or something like that. But they didn't have much choice in the matter. The government was like, take this money through eminent domain or else. And the people said no. If we don't have land, how can we grow food and feed our families and our grandchildren? And so they rebelled. They did not want this, and so they held huge protests in Mexico City. And the machete became the symbol of their resistance. They'd march in the front of the line and clank the machetes against each other to try to gain popular support for their struggle against this airport invading their territory. But that wasn't enough, and eventually the Mexican government did send in these riot police and military to force the project on the people, and the people ended up fighting for days in the street. It's consumption, the mindless chatter, like their very shallow relationship with the land. We also joke that they came to the coast of Honduras to unwind.
That's so good.
Yeah. But and so you can see this cruise ship pulling up is a cruise ship, but it also has elements of a naval landing carrier, which is a kind of historic reference to when Honduras was a proxy military base for the U.S. during the Contra War. So the U.S. would use Honduras as a space to train right-wing Contras, so they could fight the left-wing Sandinista government. Now, all these billboards is representing what the tourists see.
Yeah.
And how they look at this coastal scene, right? So they have hotels that are built for their consumption, usually by foreignly owned corporations. The Disneyfication of sacred sites. We have a suntan oil kind of being marketed to them, while being marketed to the Hondurans is the skin whitening cream on the other side. And then here, of course, is how they view the locals, as entertainment, as people cleaning their toilets or cooking their food. But kind of blasting this kind of idea of them as like menial service workers are the real Garifuna, right? The Afro-Indigenous people of the Caribbean coast of Honduras. And they're blowing their conch shells to signify that they're telling their stories, and also beating their drums, which is actually a tactic that's used. Much like here with First Nations communities, Mi'kmaq communities, you see they bring out the drums as a form of resistance, right? At all the rallies when they disrupt an event. So similarly here, they use the drums a lot in their resistance.
To any festival, it will help when you hurt yourself or when a friend hurts themselves. This is the thing now.
It's a good one. Thanks.
So the slices, but oh please don't spill out the wine. Trade the future for my present, trade me ashes for my history. Don't I need to look inside? I know the answer to the mystery. I climbed up the mountain just to give my son. Angel tried to stop me with a ram. Well, I said your mind's affected, but I said you lack perspective. You gotta walk the bottom if you wanna see the top. La da da da, la da da da, la da da da, la da da da.
You're only waiting for this moment to be free.
Hey, lovers. These guys are all just like saying, this could be the beginning of a lifelong friendship. And it's so cool. Yeah.
We're sad it's the end, but it's just the beginning. It's always the beginning.
It's just the beautiful thing about festivals is that you meet all these like best friends that you've never met before.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just wanted to know, like, you know, what makes Praxis any different than any other festival, or why is festival life important to you, or festival culture important to you? Yeah, if you could answer that.
All right, Sally, you go. So I've been here for 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, you've been rocking it for a while.
I've been here for quite a long time before the festival, helping out. There was a little crew of us, and you know, it's just like coming together and creating this space where we feed the people, and we go through these workshops together and learn all of these different like life skills, you know, skills that you can take with you. And this isn't just about a festival that's coming together and we're listening to music and dancing all night long. That's great too, but this is like, there's a lot of learning to it, a lot of growing and accepting and working with each other and growing with each other. And Alex is amazing. The man who lives on this property he has beautiful leadership skills and is so inspiring. So inspiring. And I've learned so much and I'm so grateful. And
Somebody else.
Thank you.
You had done a lot of work in the kitchen.
Yeah,
Can you
and we couldn't do
talk about that
this,
at all?
We couldn't do the kitchen work without the lawn crew being here beforehand and welcoming us in. I came just for the festival and just before it started to get the kitchen ready and serve food. And everyone has been so willing to help, and it's just a wonderful community here. Everyone's down to participate and make this thing happen, because we can't get through this without each other.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. That big lesson is that we need each other to survive. And this is the place to do that. We're surviving in the forest and we're thriving in the forest.
Yeah. Definitely thriving in the forest.
Picking lettuce in the sunshine and
That's a really cool aspect. The food actually is grown on site.
Exactly, where the food is grown on site. Make
Most
a
of
pick
it.
it for the salads, and just it was like super fresh and super appreciated, and yeah, just like such a good sense of community here, which is really nice.
It gives a lot of hope for the future, and you know, this whole leave no trace aspect as well. You come and you go with your cans and your cigarette butts or whatever you brought in. You bring it out with you.
It's not left, you know, behind for anyone to deal with, because we're all equally responsible here.
there's so much respect for the land itself. Not just the way we treat it, but the way we're manipulating it too, or very subtly making changes that are gonna help this land be more fertile and fruitful for those who live here. So it's really wonderful to be a part of creating that foundation of growth.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for your words and thoughts and your participation.
Leave no trace.
Embrace.
Hey, Alex.
Yeah.
This food is outrageous.
Yeah.
I mean, can I just ask you like a minute or two on like what's going on here?
Yeah, we're serving up some of our 3-course meals for the long crew who's helping clean up at the Praxis Project, which is a Permaculture Inspired Art Festival where we grow 30 to 50% of the food here on site and we compost everything. We have an attempt to zero waste policy and we attempt it. And we got beautiful food along the way, fresh greens.
Yeah, right from your garden. We've been watering these.
Yep.
Keeping them fresh.
Yeah, we got fresh peas and basil in this one. Fresh pea shoots and basil with some maple syrup. Right here is some beans, some chives.
It's been so good. I just burnt my tongue on these jalapenos. Holy. No, I'm not gonna eat that. Okay.
I'll eat your jalapenos.
Okay, they're really good, man.
And there's dehydrated eggplant
Cool.
in here. Yeah, and there's kids.
That's not the salad being done, is it? Oh my gosh, I just told Fig she didn't get any.
Yeah, quite a few kids here this weekend.
You can't get on the serving table. Yeah, we did. We had about 10 kids, maybe 15 different kids.
We'll turn it the other.
Let's do those kitchen items. We'll do them here. If you want to bring the burners in, and what we're gonna want to do is maximize space a little bit by doing some stuff in here.
So this is what it looks like after a festival. All kinds of random things that need to be packed away. And there needs to be people to pack them away. So thank goodness for volunteers.
Anything else going in this? Can I tie it up?
No, we're gonna leave it in case any more dishes come, and it'll go in last. The deco and the signs, this deco and signs can start to go in that back corner. They'll be the last thing to come out. And I want to try to keep the kitchen-y things on this side so it's easy for Alex to get them as he needs them. Okay, great, thanks.
Such a competent volunteer organizer. Gosh.
Wow.
All right, can
When
you give
I
us
have
a
the
few
world's
words?
best volunteers, what can you do, right?
Yeah. All right, we only need a few words on tell us about Praxis, or, how's it different from any other festivals, or anything you wanted to say.
Okay, well, with Praxis, we've got a really solid festival culture, and a lot of the young folk that come to festivals, all people who come to festivals, the way we do them in Canada, they're looking for a good time and to, entertain and celebrate with each other. We live indoors half the year in our country, and so that opportunity to get outside and celebrate is a thing in and of itself, but we're getting together. We have this huge opportunity while we're with each other, and folks often say, I wish it could be like this all the time. I love how I feel at festival. People are so open, but we don't have the skills to figure out how do we live like that. The rest of the year we're not at festival, and so with Praxis, it was important for us that we develop skills for the world we're gonna be living into, rather than the world that was, my world or my parents' world. And basic education like how to can, or how to ferment food, or learn how to make power without needing a centralized authority to get it to you. These are really basic things that as the world gets more precarious are going to become the important skills, as well as learning how to be together and work together. You mentioned, just now about coordinating volunteers, being able to do governance ourselves and figuring out systems that work for us. It's going to become increasingly important. And so I think this is sort of like Praxis is kind of practice for the breakdown.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Have you said that before?
No.
No.
Kind of came to me.
Yeah, totally. Now, great infrastructure as well, and this dance floor, did they throw some beans on it to grow some beans here?
We totally did. We had at the children's party on Thursday, we had a bean planting ceremony on the new portion of our dance floor over here.
Okay.
And so what we've done, we wanted to make a regenerative dance floor. Most parties we go to, we're really worried about the impact we have on forests and the forest lands that we go visit. Here we took a place that had become swampy because of human impact, building a road, and we turned that swampiness by placing close to 3 feet worth of twigs and sticks, and then straw all through that, and then sand on top of that. And when we're done dancing, after about 5 years, we'll be done dancing on this thing. And it's going to end up leaving us a little layer that's the beginnings of soil. And just like humans used to break their grapes, you know, we can be part of regenerating the places that we are. It's not even about protecting them or saving them. It's really about regenerating them and making them able to sustain us into the future.
Very cool. Well, it's the only festival that I know of that's doing that. I mean, as far as everything's run off of solar. No, there's the
well, we've got
generator.
Here's what we did. We did this as a 5-year plan.
Okay.
Because people have a lot of ambition, and we don't have a lot of resources. It's a lot of human resources here, and we're doing things not just on a shoestring, but in a way that's, you know, limiting the amount of destructive material that we use to the best of our ability. So this year we are still on a generator. Our intention is by year 5, we're able to run our stage off of solar power, and we'll be able to run our workshops on solar power. We're putting in a cob oven in the future, and we'll be shifting our cooking situation to sort of reflect the more permaculture inspired values that we have and move away from gas. We're not going to ever move fully away from it, and we're not here to pretend we don't need some of the beauty of modernity. It's not about eliminating everything that, you know, we seem as problematic. It's like, how can we make the highest use of the materials we have, and when can we say we don't actually need to do that? So for example, this year we could have spent a lot of money on lights, and it would have really helped the festival, but instead we put out the word, and it turned out one of our artists who was coming already had some. And so it's not even about saving money. It's like, do we need another light in the world where there's already one? And so by building cells together of area coordinators, people who have different skills and different strengths and different resources, like you show up here, Corey, and you bring an entire plounge with you. I mean, the money it would take me to create what you're able to do by bringing your installations to our party, it's a whole thing that I can leave. I don't have to worry about that. And that would have been 100 hours of creating space to be safe and cozy. So I think that's another thing that's really unique about our process, is that we're really trying to involve people in a way that's like deeply co-creative.
Love it. My pleasure to be part of it. So
Yay.
Thanks for all your good work.
Oh, we're happy you're part of it too.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is the thing, you know, we're going to do this by building community together. And, you know, I want to see you here again next year.
I want to see you more in New Brunswick.
Yeah. Well, I'm getting closer to making that happen.
Cool. Later. We're off.
Thanks again.
Thanks for your time.